Hey everyone, welcome to Wash It Painting. In this video, I am going to be assembling the Swampboss Skumdrekk by Games Workshop. Guys, this just to let you know, I've got to say this quickly. It came free of charge. Games Workshop sent it me for a sort of preview copy for you guys to take a look at. I need to tell you that just in case I say it's the best thing I've ever glued together in my entire life. Take it with a pinch of salt because I did not pay for this. So it's got very different feelings to somebody who will have spent their hard-earned cash on this. Now, with that out of the way with, let's just talk about everything I'm going to be using in this video. The first thing is the Swampboss Skumdrekk himself. These are the instruction manuals. I find them pretty good, and you may not even need to be watching an assembly video. However, despite the fact I think they're quite good, I still managed to cock it up, and I think it's better that you guys watch me mess it up than mess up your own one, and then you cannot do what I do wrong. If anything, it might be 100% spot on this time. We'll find out. We've also got all the sprues here, which I've not touched yet. Then the actual tools that I'll be using. First off is plastic glue. That's what I'm going to be using to bond these pieces together. A lot of people recommended that I got plastic glue in some of my previous assembly videos, and I went and did it. And a lot of people said the Citadel one's pretty good, and it's got that sort of metal piece. I didn't know that until I can see it through there. So this is supposed to be quite good. I'm going to take it for a spin in this video. See, still in its packet, never used it, so we'll find out if that's any good. And I did pay for that, so whatever I say about that is there's definitely no biasness. What else have I got? You're going to use the Citadel nippers in this video. I think these are very good. They get nice and clean cuts, nice and close to the miniature. I will use a crass blade, an X-Acto knife. This is a Swan Morton. I favour it because the blades are made in the city I live. And this will be to cut off pieces that I missed, that I just need to get a little bit closer to, or just to sort of scrape down using the back. Although mine's, as I always mention, I've always got a really blunt blade, so it's quite good for scraping. So I might be using that to scrape down any pieces that have just got a little bit of that sprue sticking to them. And then finally, I've also got a file for any bigger pieces or any rough pieces I just want to smooth down. This is just the one that I had closest to me. I've got a whole set, and I might go and grab some different ones if I need them, but that's what I'm going to be working with in this video. So the first thing we need to choose is which variant we want, and I think I want the Swampboss. I think I want this guy. I just like his helmet more than anything. I checked the stats. They don't mean anything to me. I don't know what any of this means. I can roughly work out this, and the Snatcher Boss has only got 14 blood drops, and the Swampboss has got 15. Other than that, these are all the same. This probably all means stuff, doesn't to me, so I'm going to go on this. One of them's got a higher number, so why wouldn't you build that one? Also, it's here. Look how cool it looks. Can't wait to get that built and painted. So I'm going to be going with this. Just to let you know, if you're unaware of this, there are some keys. I saw this earlier. It tells you if it's a variant assembly or paint before assembly or dry fit. I guess that's just to test it. So you can see there's this variant and this variant here, the blue and the green. I'm going to go with the blue, which means I follow steps 1 to 6. And if I wanted green, 1 to 3 and then 7 to 9. I mean, if nothing else, this is a more straightforward linear steps to follow. So we're on to this page. So then the first thing I'm going to do is say so like 5 times in one sentence. But after that, we're going to go and find these pieces. So we want 30, 31, 27, 29, 28, 32. Oh, look, his thumb's detached and another finger. Oh, blah, blah, so many pieces. So a whole bunch of it is on this sprue. Up here we can see 30 and 31. Let's grab those. 29's here and 28's over here. Let's grab those too. And 28 is a little bit hard to get to, so I'm going to just cut the sprues off of it much further away from the miniature. A lot of people advise you do this full stop, but I like to, I just nip nice and flush and as close to the actual model as you can. That is a little bit dangerous. Mistakes can be made. You can lose a bit of your miniature, but it is nice and quick. A lot of people say, don't do X, Y, or Z. Eating a kebab first thing in the morning for breakfast is a bad thing to do, but is it? I'm willing to take that risk. But yeah, technically you might want to be cutting further away. Look how nice this is coming off now without the rest of the sprue getting in my way. I think I'm able to get nice and flush. So when I think it's dangerous like that, I will nip away and then come and trim it down. But just bear in mind, a lot of people would advise you always do that. Cut away, cut a bit closer, sort of file it down, then you don't risk losing any of the miniature. And I'm not going to lie, I have lost bits of miniature in the past, so it does happen. I shouldn't do what I do, but I do, 'cause ain't nobody got time for that. Now, the other side of that carriage is all the way over on this sprue number 27. So we'll grab that, but that's the sprue you're looking for, and not to say all the rest are pretty much on the same place. This one was crazy out of the way. And then we're back to the other sprue we're working on, and we want 32, his big arm, 34, which is, I think, his thumb here, and then 35. Another finger over here, so we'll grab these. Nip, nip. Also just dropped that on the floor. Guys, pro tip, don't have a grey carpet if you cut miniatures. So we have gathered up all the pieces on step 1A. Here we go, we've got a big pile. The next thing I am going to do is just inspect each piece and see where I've cut it away from, find my knife, where we've cut it away from the sprue. I'm just going to take, as I said, mine's blunt. If yours is sharp, you might want to use the back of it. Either way, you're going to get sharp enough just to sort of smooth these little lumps. If you've got any, if you've managed to cut super close, you might have none, but you can see I'm just scraping, filing that down, getting rid of any little mark whatsoever. You can see there I've got a little tiny bit of extra sprue on it. You can also see a slight mold line there, so I'm going to try and just scrape that while I can see it. Now, like most of you, I'm probably going to notice all of my mold lines the second I prime this up. But if I'm lucky enough to see any while I'm building the miniature, I will be fixing it on this one, because this is going to be a beaut. This is going to be a real piece on the table, isn't it? It's not part of a hoard. It's not going to just be masked by the fact there's 400 of them. I think people are going to care about this miniature. I'm going to care about it, so I'm going to take a little bit more time than I would normally do and tidy up at least mold lines I can find. Don't get me wrong. Please don't come and comment on the painting video and tell me all the places I've missed the mold lines, because I definitely will, and I'll definitely not care once I've painted it. Like, it's going to live as it is. But while I'm building it, if I can see them, I'm going to tidy them up, and I would advise you do too. It's only going to take a couple of extra seconds, and it will detract from your miniature at the end of the day. If you do an awesome paint job and then you've got some really apparent mold lines, it's going to upset you. But I'm going to go around and do exactly this to all of these pieces I've now cut out. I'm going to, like, different people might build different ways. It might be nice to cut all the pieces out and then do all the scraping. A bit more like a batch job, isn't it? It's going to save picking up and putting down each tool. You can get in the flow, but I find all of these jobs are quite boring. So I'm going to mix it up by going from cutting to cleaning to scraping to gluing to building, and then back round the cycle. I'm going to do each bit one at a time. Anyway, I'm going to scrape and clean all of these pieces up. So it's the gluing stage for this part next. And let's try this out for the first time. Pretty excited about it. You know, as I was tidying up those miniatures, you know what I noticed? This isn't push fit. It's like the first thing that I'm ever going to have painted that's not push fit. The second thing I noticed is, how do you open this? What's going on? What do you do? Guys, I'm going to pause the video and upload it, and you guys can take some time and tell me how to open this freaking thing. It doesn't even say on the packet. All it says on the packet is it might cause drowsiness. Well, the joke is on them, because I'm always drowsy. Yeah, not like that. Oh, that did stink though. Wow, I actually had to Google. Is that supposed to come out of there? I feel like it's not. What is going on? This stuff. If I finally got to the bottom of this. Look at that. I feel like this was glued to it, so I'll clean that up. Guys, if you want to know how I opened that, that was with pure brute force. I got my tweezers and just wedged it under and lifted the lid off. You probably already know that if you're watching this video. A lot of you will, but I genuinely had to Google it, and the fact that people were asking it and the answers were there suggests I'm not the only person who doesn't know how to open that. Right, stuck the needle back in. Let's see how it works. Let's see if I can do this. So it does say 27 to 29 to 28, and as I said, it's not push fit. This is the worst day of my life. Well, it took me about half an hour to work out which way around this little piece goes, but essentially you want it so it's facing this way with this at the back, and then it does just sort of drop in here. I miss push fit so badly, and because that drops in so easily, I'm actually just going to glue these two pieces together first, and I'll deal with that later on. So these two just clip together up here. Boop, in which case I'll run the glue around here. So let's see how this works. Not at all. After fixing my glue, guys, if you didn't know, I had to go and look this up as well. The glue can get stuck in the needle. You can pull out the needle, flip it round, push it down into the glue, and I turned it upside down, and the plastic glue just dissolved the dried up plastic glue in the needle, and we're in business. So here we go. So we can just turn this upside down, and it's going to run out. It's going to run a thin layer around where the two pieces are going to meet. This is lovely. It's easy to work with. Needle's moving a bit, which is a bit annoying, but that's that. Click the two pieces together, Make sure you get them right because it is going to start melting, dissolving the plastic a little bit. And then I'm just going to hold that together for a few seconds. So as I mentioned before, this next bit was a little bit hard. What I'm going to do is hold it at the back like this. Then this piece you want, so this flat section, see it's not flat there, that's how I identified it, that flat of this like rope underneath his chest. And then that's going to slot into here and sit on all of these ridges that there is. It's still going to be a little bit fiddly, but like so. So let's put some glue. I think I'm going to go for this piece because if I put the plastic glue on here and scrape it all the way down, I might end up melting various bits. So where do we want it? There's a ridge just here, this corner here. Oh, it was somewhere on this side here, I guess. And then again, this big ridge running along here. And then it's just about carefully putting that back into position, like so. Hold that for a few seconds just while it starts to dry, and then I'll pop that down to dry a bit more. So building his arm next, a little bit easier to identify where pieces go. His thumb needs to slot in here. Guys, let me know in the comments below and let everybody else know if you've got a tip for this. I've smoothed this down perfectly. It looks well contoured like it should go in, but I can't see a way that's going to connect there without having that big gap. Is that just something you have to deal with? For me, like I'm used to gaps, so I'll either not care or off camera I'll go and use some green stuff to fill that once it's dry. But it's just like, what am I supposed to do? They look like they match perfectly. Do I just keep shaving until it goes in? Is it something you have to manually deal with? So yeah, just let us know. But off camera, I will go and just use a little bit of green stuff to fix that. So again, a little bit of glue in here. That's probably quite a lot of glue, but maybe it'll splurge out and fill the gap a little bit. And then we're just going to slot that into, it definitely splurged out, whether that's a good or a bad thing. And I'm just going to hold that in there as tight as I can. But you can just see straight away that there's a big gap, isn't there? Well, it's not a gap. That is in tight. It's more like there's just going to be this little ridge there, which I might paint in some detail, but realistically, I think I'm just going to smooth it over with green stuff. Anybody else notice the deliberate mistake when I took 36 instead of 35? Don't accidentally glue that on. Luckily I didn't, because it doesn't fit. And I was like, what have I done here? Just grabbed the wrong pinky finger. Glue the pinky in. Look how mangly his hand is. It looks awesome, but look at that gap. It's separated even more once I let go. Blah. It kind of looks like a cool scar. You might paint that in as a scar. I'm well tempted, but probably going to fill it. While the arm's drying, we'll make the most of this time and glue on some of these wooden bars. So there's a little notch here. Oop, well, and a little one here too. And we'll take 31, I think this is. The wood with the little bit sticking down. Just slot that into there, and it holds really well on those notches. Actually, that bit was nice and easy. Repeating the same process on the other side, a couple of notches, and slotting number 30 onto there. And now the arm's nice and dry, so let's glue this in. You'll see I accidentally missed a bit here that I meant to tidy up, but it's gonna save me a few seconds because that's gonna be hidden away momentarily. I'm gonna glue all the way around this shoulder joint. I think it's going to be touching all over the place. Needle sliding inside. How do I stop that? Let's pull it back out in a minute. But which way round is it? This way round. So this is his right arm. That's just going to slide into here and rest in there nicely, just like that. What should we do next? I'll tell you what next. Follow the instructions. We're on 1B and we're going to be gaining... This looks well complicated. Oh, I guess it is. There's some bits here. But basically we're going to attach his other arm. And don't lose the finger that you accidentally cut off for, so we'll keep that nearby. But let's go and let's find 37, 38 first, because they're nice and simple. We're back on that main sprue, and we're just going to nip this one free. Clean them up. Just a heads up, guys, I actually stuck this side wood on backwards, you might have noticed before, so I can't tell from the instructions. How are you supposed to know? Let me know if I missed something in here that I made that obvious. But essentially you want it this way round on this side, which is with like two pointy bits sticking up here and one down. I would say with a ball on it, but the ball's on both sides. So the only reason I noticed is when I went to put on this piece is it didn't fit, and it fits on this way. So that's what I said at the start of the video. I'm here to make all the mistakes. It actually just came off really easily. It hadn't set very well with the glue, so it was no problem to fix. But hopefully you didn't copy it and you can fix it yourselves before you've done it wrong. I will glue this piece now because it gives it time to set. I don't know how long this takes. It doesn't feel like plastic glue takes all that much time to set, but I may as well have this bit sticking in while I'm building the next piece. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue to each of these wooden pieces, the bar that's going to go across the top, and probably here too. And this bit will be hitting the back of it, then around his neck, and then I'll put that so it falls over. But then this will just slot in. It slots in super well, just here. This next piece I actually love, by the way, because it's the continuation of this bar that goes through his sort of collar. I just think it looks really nice piece of detail. Can't really tell which way around it goes, so let me know if I'm supposed to be able to tell somehow. But essentially, I think it looks and fits best on my carpet. Looks and fits the best with this. If you look at it downwards, it's got a little triangle, notchy, pointy bit, and I think that looks the best at the top facing out. So that's how I'm going to stick mine in. You can see that wood looks like it continues straight out there, so that's why I've gone with it. That's what I think it's supposed to be, but you can't tell from the picture. Let's build that arm up now. We've got 36 already cut out, but you want 33, which is very, very easy to identify. It's the other arm. Nip, 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 nip. Cleaned it up off camera. Quite a lot to clean up there. There was a lot of sprue that couldn't be removed easily. Let's glue it together. Bit in here. Slap his thumb in. Oh, this gap closes a lot tighter. Still a gap nevertheless, but yeah, definitely nowhere near the other thumb. I'll pinch that together for a little bit. And it's similar to glue together as the last bit. I'm just going to catch some of this plastic glue all around the sort of ridge of his shoulder joint, and then slam that into place. I'm not really going to slam it. I'm obviously going to do it super carefully and delicately and hold it in position. It sort of rotates in and locks into place just there. I'm going to hold this one a lot longer because you can see it's nice and flush. There's no gap. And look at the other side. I cocked that up proper bad. That was not like that. I got that in properly, and I must have just let go too soon, maybe rested it on the table and it's pushed it out. So I'll give this a good minute's hold because I really don't want a gap for no reason. I'll see if I can fix this in a minute, but mistakes were made. I don't think you'll see it from anywhere that actually matters. Like, you're not actually going to see from underneath, but it's irritating, right? Like, that was not there. And that's not the miniature's fault, that's my fault. There we go, fix that gap. I just prized it apart enough to get a little bit more plastic glue in and then really rammed it back in there. And I'm just going to hold it. So I'm not putting it down. Nobody's messing this up. I feel like we're about 4 days into this build. This is exhausting. Actually quite enjoying it, but it's taking forever. I'm not used to things taking forever. Ask my wife. Now we're on to 2A. We want 39, 40, and 41. Let's grab those pieces. They're all on the main sprue at the moment. What's the other sprue for? There's so many details. Let's snip these out, starting with 39. Grab ourselves 40. And 41 I'm just going to bring out of the sprue so I can work on it. Let's glue 39 and 40 together. So we'll run some glue all the way around 40, well, all the way around where it attaches to the miniature, which is all these flat bit down the inside here too. And then drop it. I like dropping things today. That's seems like my main mission and goal. And then we'll just click that. See how easy that piece was? Just slides in super duper easy there. Just trying to make sure this leg's nice and tight in here so I've got no gap. That's looking pretty good. Hold that for a second while it starts to set. Going from a nice easy piece to a harder piece. This is 41. I'm going to just dry fit it to show you. I'm going to go and glue it off camera because this bit's a bit fiddly. But what I found is this little notch here, and it's got a little cut out on his underbelly here. I find like lining that and pivoting it there is one of the best bits to do it on. And then that just clicks into place there. That's how I found to do it. So I'm going to just go and do that off camera. I say off camera, but I could just show you. I've put glue down this ridge here on the inside. And then, as I said, I'm just going to pop that there, pivot that into position. Next up, we want 42 as the other leg, the last massive piece on the trusty sprue, where we seem to be getting all of our pieces from. Clean it up like all the rest. Add some glue to all the connecting ridge. A nice easy piece that just slots super easily in on this side. And once again, just going to pinch it together, close up that gap, give it a few seconds to start setting. Okay, grab myself a nice cup of tea, had a little refreshment break, and we're on to 2C. We're flying through this now. So we're going to be adding on the, what do you call this bit? It's like the mechanism for restraining the beast, his tail and his little back tootsies. We will start with the trusty sprue, the one we're almost done with. This is the last piece. So let's grab this off of here. Oh, we're done. I wish there was can you recycle this? It feels like such a waste, doesn't it? But that's done with. Let's put that out of the way. And then we're going to be going to the sprue we've not touched yet. Here are his two tail pieces. We want them both. That's 4645. Let's grab them. This one's a tricky piece, so let's cut that off of the sprue. Then just cut that better. Now we can get to it. Grab his other tail piece. And his cute little back paws. The usual quick tidy. Do this off camera because you get the point. And this is, well, it's not ages. It doesn't take ages, but it takes a couple of minutes. So I won't bore you with seeing me scrape little bits of plastic down. Let's glue this contraption in place. Is it called a yoke? Is that the word I was thinking of? I'm not sure. That might be something different, but I'm going to glue this in anyway. It's nice and easy. Just go around here like so. Let's put some on that bit too. And then just make sure you got it the right way around. So you want these notches of wood sticking out the back. So in towards the miniature, in towards his bum, like so, that way around. Let's get his little paws in too. So his right foot, left as I'm facing it, has the hole slightly to the right of the foot. I mean, it's pretty obvious which is which. Just try them out. Try them first. He fits in there. His left foot has the hole more to the left. And that'll just slot in there. Tail's going to be a cakewalk. It's very well hidden, the joint. We'll apply some glue to the bigger piece just around here where it's going to connect together, and we'll just slot that in there and push it together. As I mentioned from above, you're never going to see that joint. All the little tail feathers cover it. It's beautiful, this piece. Connecting his actual tail is going to be a little bit trickier, but you can see there's a little cutout on the tail here and a little notch on the stub of his tail. So that's just going to connect in there. So let's get that glued up. Guys, we're done with number 2. We are on to 3A, and this step is sticking to the base. Do we need to do that? I don't know. I'm going to try not though, because that's just going to make it harder to paint. I'm not going to be able to get on the underside of him as easily. So I think I'll avoid that if I can. I might be eating my words in a minute. Let's move on though, because it's also showing joining the two bits together. He's really going to start taking shape. Now is it a he? It might be a girl. How do you tell with these things? Is there some indication? Anyway, let's glue this bit. So I'd recommend just trying it out, get a feel for it first, but you can see where it connects, including this rope up here, slots on the back side of it there. So let's apply some glue, which is going to be, let's do the rope first so I don't forget it. It connects up here. We've also got this beam's going to touch these two knobs here and here, and then all the way around this, what I'm going to call a yoke, but it might not be, all around this item here. And then make sure you come in that way so the rope connects right. I mean, you're only going to need to be off slightly, but there you go. Otherwise, it's going to ping together. And we'll just hold that in position. Oh, I'm getting excited. You can already see this stands up by itself, so I really don't think I want to be gluing that base yet. So we're on to 3B now. So we've skipped out this base. We are going to be getting 56, 57. This is that cage that we're going to build. You put that together first, and then we want to connect that to 55 and 58. So we're going to be building up this item, the sub-assembly over here. And that's essentially all on this sprue. We've got 56 all the way up here. 57's this one down here. 58's that's the bottom of the cage. And the bit it's going to hang off is 55 here. So I'm going to nip all of those off. I think you've seen enough cutting now. With all those pieces set free and cleaned up, let's glue it together. Dead simple. This piece here has got a little cut out in it and a notch goes into it. So we'll apply some glue. The harder bits are just these connection points here, here. Where is it? Where is it indeed? I think it was here and here as well. And we just take the other side and push them gently together. They need a little bit of caressing into place. That's pretty good. It's so fragile, so flimsy. I wonder if I should be able to paint that. It's going to be hard to, it's relatively hard to get in and paint it. I guess it's not impossible, so it's probably worth gluing together. Next up, it's just attaching it to that post. So again, this one's got a little notch cut out here. So let's apply some of this plastic glue to there. Take the beam and it's got a little peg there to slot in here. Pinch that together. Attaching the bottom is probably the hardest bit, but you want spikes down. Again, should this be painted before it's attached? It does have a key in the book to tell you when you need to paint before attachments. It's just I don't trust it. Where should we glue? Who knows? Who knows? Should we try it out first? I know how it's going to work. I just don't know what should be glued. I guess these holes should have a bit of glue on them. Get some glue on those holes. Then there's all these little dents, basically. This is too thick. Let's hope it doesn't melt and look a mess. Shouldn't matter too much. I think you could mess this up and it'll still look good. It's like a rickety cage, isn't it? Basically, something like that. It's a lovely looking accessory, isn't it? Very cool, very flimsy. I'm probably going to snap it when I'm painting it by mistake. Let's just grab the other piece of this step while we're there, and it's number 59. It's this big beam with the chains hanging down. So let's attach on these accessories. Now, you do need to consider if these are going to get in the way, because you could just paint them up off the miniature. I'm generally considering it, but I've lined them up, and while they're not in the way, I'm going to be able to easily paint around them. The way I'm going to be painting this, I'm going to be speed painting, I'm going to be contrast painting this more than likely. It's not really going to interfere with that level of painting, but depending how amazingly well you might want to paint this, you probably don't gain that much for gluing these on here and now. But essentially, I didn't even tell you how to do that, but that's how easy that piece was. Glue, stick it in. The back piece, I guess you could put on either way around. It fits onto this piece of wood here. No, it doesn't fit either way, so that answers that question. You want the circular chains on his left side, your right side as you're looking at him. So on like this, and essentially just put some glue in here. It's a good time for you guys to hit subscribe, because you get to see me painting this, and you'll get to notice if I moan about these accessories being in the way, because they generally could be, couldn't they? Look, they're not right up to the miniature, but this chain, I mean, they flex a little bit out of the way. This chain's not as easy as if it's not there. Plus, it's just like constantly in the way. In fact, it might be really bad for filming, just the fact. Look how big it's becoming in each one of these pieces. These could have been painted so easily. This is just a bit of wood and some metal, so maybe that was a mistake. I've done it now. It's in position. At least we get to see what it looks like when it's built, and that's the purpose of this video. So again, I'll do this bit off camera because it's fairly repetitive, and by now it's very easy, the cutting and trimming and smoothing out part. But we've essentially want 52, 53, which is the cage on the other side, 51, which is the matching bar to support it, and 54, which is the bottom of the cage. We're also going to be grabbing 48, 49, and 50, which is this teeny tiny cage. I suspect this is all on this sprue. You can see the big cage is here, the bottom's over here, and the beams, this one here, and then the little cages, this is one side of it. Is this the other side? 49, yes it is. There's two little sides with the bottom of it too. Well, let's find out if gluing this cage together is pretty much the same. So let's get the female part, put that in that little cutout, and slide in the knob. Oh, I just realised I built the cage first last time, didn't I? Whoopsie. But anyway, let's put some more in this little cutout, like so, and then it connects here, 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 and here. Pop these two pieces together, make sure they line up. It's a bit flexible, but hold them in position for a second and they should start to set. Start building the baby cage. Very little to this one. There's this little dimple here and two little flaps to connect up the other side on. Make sure that's lined up nicely, which it has. Grab the big boy again. Let's do his base. I'll just do exactly what I do. Oh, let's just check how the other one came out. I think it came out fine to me. I'm liking how that is. So let's just do exactly the same. A little bit of plastic glue around these holes and one on each little dimple here. If you can get less on than I'm doing, by all means do. I'm not being super good with that bit. Then slide it in. Make sure they all line up. Press it into place, give it a second. Let's fix the little cage, do exactly the same. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on all of the dimples. Was that one? I don't know, let's find out. And then you just want that middle small piece to line up with that one that I just said let's find out about. These don't line up, they're a bit bent out of shape. There we go. Wiggled and jiggled and giggled it into place. Connecting them up again, if these pieces are going to get in the way, definitely give it some consideration to not doing these at this point. I probably don't actually want to, but I'm gonna fully complete most of it. I'm certainly not going to put anything in the way that's going to genuinely be in the way. But I would like to see what this is going to look like for the rest of you guys, even if I struggle painting it a little bit. Let's attach on that post so they're nice and matching up. And then we've got to put this somewhere, isn't it? Which is, I believe, over here. It is over on this one. Oh, I should have done that first. It doesn't say in the instructions. Nope, definitely doesn't. I'm just double checking. The little one would be much easier first. I'm going to be able to do it, but My fingers are definitely catching on this, which is a little bit annoying. Guys, hopefully you watched the video all the way through before you start building it. But yeah, stick the little one on, save yourself a tiny bit of inconvenience. Look, I've got to hold it in a really weird way. Ah, fiddlesticks. Future Ben here. I'm just editing the video as we speak. And I have lost the footage to me picking which of the riders I wanted to put on top of this mount. Now, I say lost. I don't think I pressed record, but let's blame the camera. Let's blame technology. So I've got the choice between Swampboss Skumdrekk and a Snatcher Boss. And basically, the YouTube commenters, thank you ever so much for taking the time to leave me comments, filled in like the differences between them. This is a sort of named character. He's a little bit more important in the lore of the game, and this is just generic Snatcher Boss. It was still a difficult choice because I think this one looks awesome, as does this one. I love this helmet, but I love this back pole. Choices. To be honest, I wish I'd had some foresight and wasn't in a rush to get these videos up, because I think I'd have got some magnets involved so I could make these interchangeable. It looks super easy. Same with the boss, because the legs are the same, so you only really need to interchange the top. So if you magnetize these and stuck them on, same as the actual heads of the beast, could have magnetized them. No foresight there. I wish I'd known this was coming and what I could have done with it. Now let's just talk about actually building this bit. So I do pick the swamp boss. I talked about it in lots of detail last night, but yeah, no footage. So we're going to go and find the bits off the screw, and we're going to need his chest, his back piece, and his front piece. So it's 4, 5, and 6 that I'm basically missing, and I'm going to cut those off, clean them up, and then glue them together. Very, very, very straightforward piece, no problem whatsoever here. And let's get back to the recorded footage. Oh, I totally didn't press record when filming, putting him together. It was really easy as well. His back's got a big flat area, just put the glue in there, and his front's got 2 holes in it. You put that glue in there, and then you can press in the front piece. I would advise, and I didn't do this, is a little bit of glue along here as well to stick that together. I didn't do it. It might cause me a problem, but I think it would have tightened that up nicer if I'd done it. You guys should do it, I think. He needs his legs next, and for that we want 2, 3, and 1. One's his seat. And his seat's all up here in the top corner. You know the drill. Let's clean him up. Let's get some glue in his crotch. So just all the way around the flat bit here. Push the 2 bits together. Job done. We'll attach him to his seat. He's got a little notch here and a bit on his back too. And that's like a saddle this way around. So you want to line it up and put it between his legs. In it slots, and in he goes. So I've had a little play off camera with the next step, which is attaching the body to the legs. But as I said, did I say, as I thought at least, that the other boss uses the same setup. It's exactly the same, 1, 2, and 3. So I feel like you can make these interchangeable. What I did off camera was a little bit of drilling using a pin vise. Drilled holes in both sides that lined up well, and then I super glued in 2 pins in here, 2 just to stop him being easily able to rotate and just looking a bit of a mess. And they're stuck in nice and tight. And then it's a little bit fiddly, but I guess you wouldn't change it that often. Then you can just slot him on those 2 pins. He does wobble a little bit, but he's pretty secure. And ultimately, he doesn't easily turn. And once gravity is in place, he's going to be sat on that pretty flush. Now, I might upgrade that to magnets in my own time, but I don't have any around at the minute. And I just wanted to show you try out myself, see what was possible. So I should be able to choose between bosses. I don't know if you'd want to. Somebody let me know in the comments. And then the other thing is each boss has its own mount head. So this one's got this open tongue, and the alternatives all shut. And I didn't think it mattered. I thought you just get a choice. But I'm trying to understand the data sheet. It looks like you at least roll different dice. Number 3, which is its mouth, depending which build you've got. This mouth here, number 3, and this rolls a d3 plus 4, and this rolls d3 plus 3. So I assume it matters which head. I don't know if it matters which head I put on, so I'm probably going to have to do the one that goes with this, or try and make them interchangeable. We'll find out in a little bit when I get there. But nevertheless, I thought it was something interesting to show you that you can make them interchangeable, and give you an opportunity to let me know in the comments if this is a stupid idea. Let everybody else know as well. Off camera, I've now cut out the next piece. What are we on? We're on 4B now, so I grabbed his face in this half helmet. I grabbed his helmet guard, I've grabbed number 7, which is his weapon, and number 8, which is his other hand. I'll also knock over the mount in the background. That's a reason to put it on the base, but not worth it. It does mention that we should fully paint up the head before we attach these 2 pieces. So I think for here, I will glue the head onto his neck, glue the hands onto his hand, glue his weapon in place, and I'll leave off the guard for now because I did line it up. It's going to be really hard to paint if I glue that all together. Anyway, I also noticed while I was waiting for my camera to charge, it shows all these yellow bits. How long did I go without noticing that? All the yellow bits is where it advises to put the glue. I was working it out each time. So if you don't know that, maybe it always shows that. I've not built one that isn't push fit before, so I never even considered it. But just in case you didn't know that is right there. So let's start by gluing his head in place and following the yellow instructions. That's just all of his neck here. I'm going to line up his sort of bottom of his head. That should slide into place somewhere. Oh, this is a nasty piece to work with. There we go. He's turned quite to the side. It eventually feels like it's incorrect, and that's setting now. So we'll put the guard for his helmet to one side because I'll paint his face in situ before I attach that. Let's pop his legs off as well so I don't put them under any unnecessary pressure on those pegs. We'll glue on his hand as well. I'm just following the yellow instructions now. It just got so much easier, but basically there's a flat bit just there that we want to put the glue onto. Wow, that took me far too long to work out. See, following the instructions doesn't work out that well. It tells you to put the glue here, which I'm sure does work, but it made me completely miss out that there's a little channel here. I'll put a bit of glue in there, and then that's just a matter of sliding that over the top. Wow, see, the instructions are trying to help me, but it actually made it much harder for myself. His hand looks menacing, doesn't it? This side's going to be a lot easier. It's got a big ball on it, so let's get some glue on that, on his shoulder socket, and pop his weapon in. Next, we're on to number 5, and I am going to start with 25, 24, 26, this neck piece, and I'm going to do that so I can start working out whether I could use magnets or something so I could have interchangeable heads as well. So let's grab 25, 24, 26. 25, 26, and number 24 over here. Clean that up off camera. Let's get them glued together. I'm going to be following along this ridge here, and connecting up the other side is just a matter of following all the way around the ridge. Nice. So the neck changes across both the heads as well. So I think this is the point that I would want to sort of magnetize it or make it attachable if I want to do that. So I can continue with the rest of the head for now while I ponder that. So let's grab ourselves all of his face. There's quite a lot to it, isn't there? Where do we begin? So we want 18 and 19 down here. We want his tongue up here, number 17. As teeny tiny as it is nose, but number 20 all the way up here. That's so small and fragile. Careful with the tooth. While we're at it, we may as well grab the rest. 21 over here. I don't think you have to attach this bit, do you? Guessing this bit's optional if you want to leave his face bare. And then last, I need 23. Where's 23? Is this 23? Where's the number? So blind. I'm guessing it has to be. It's around all the 20s. Quite a bit of cleaning up to do on those bits just because there's so many cuts and so many little pieces. Let's add some glue to the inside of his mouth. So along this edge here. And then his tongue. This bit's a bit tricky. He wants to go through his mouth and into this side. And let's see if I can find this bit. He's got like a tooth that, or a pin that goes into a little hole in his tongue that you should be able to connect up there. It clicked in there. Did you see? Right, that bit there. I'm going to give his other side of the face a connection point. So glue along here, get up here as well and round, down here. I feel like some should go on his tongue as well, but I'm not quite sure where. Maybe I'll have a quick peep. It's basically going to connect to the bottom of his tongue too. Push this on that side. So yeah, as I mentioned, I don't think you actually have to attach these bits because you could just have him without a helmet. I'm not sure what to do. How armoured is his body? A little bit armoured, isn't it? Would it look weird? Look at my tiny head. Would look weird like that, wouldn't it? It needs a neck. It might look weird without his armour on. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the armour in this case. So that's essentially adding a load of glue to the top of his head. Some on the flat here, too. And then on the other piece along the top. Hold that in there. And this piece on the other side. Push it all together. Whoa. He looks a lot more menacing, doesn't he? I feel like he's like a puppy with his tongue hanging out before, which was kind of cool. I'm still not sure if I should have gone helmet or helmet free. But given he's got armour on the rest of his body, I feel like he should have an armoured head too. Proper menacing now, isn't it? And you get to use up more of the plastic. I'm kind of saving the environment, really. Look, he's got no nose. Should I put the nose on? It looks terrifying, like it's had its face ripped off in battle. Should totally have done his nose before his helmet, shouldn't I? Whoops.
Whoopsie.
Let's see if I can rescue that. Guys, do his nose before his helmet. Completely forgot it existed, to be honest. Put a bit of glue in that open bit there. Can I push this in? Maybe. It's just bending it just like that the way. And yeah, we can just get it in, but definitely do his nose first. Head looking good though. Let's secure him to his neck brace. And this time, you want it so there's this little, can you see it's not on that side? This little notch here. That's where you want, that's the way around you want it. Easy indication. Just get some glue on the center. I'll get a little bit in this notch as well. I'm sure that must touch something, which is why it's there. And then we'll just push his head into his little brace. Next up, we're going to connect these pieces all together. So we'll glue his actual neck. Look at this needle. Where are you going? Come back. Is it supposed to slide? Somebody let me know. I'm absolutely loving this glue. If I forget to mention it by the end though, whoever suggested that, thank you ever so much. Really, really appreciate that. Love helpful comments. Do remember I'm pretty new to all of this, so lots of helpful comments, any suggestions, tips, hints and tips. You can see I adapt. I've now picked up this glue and I'm loving it. This is much, much easier than the glues I was using previously. So we're on to the final step. Now you can see his feet glue onto here and his bum as well, so let's definitely do that. As aforementioned, I've not actually glued him together, but we can certainly put his feet onto the mount. And that's a matter of, it's along here we want some glue, and also the bottom of his feet. I'm guessing here where it looks like it's going to connect in. Spin him around and pop him into place. Sits quite far forward. As for the beast's head itself, again, I'm going to leave it for a bit if I can just connect it in for the sake of the video, because I think it will actually just slot in there and hold itself. Yeah, it will. And that is it, guys. I was trying to find some awesome way to show off this miniature, but it's so shiny, and it really needs kind of my hands in place to dull down the shine and get the camera to focus how I need it to. Hopefully it won't take too much away from you. This is an incredibly cool looking miniature. His helmet's not actually glued on place there. I've just stuck it on temporarily so you can see what you're going to be left with if you're debating whether to get this miniature. I think the detail's fantastic. It's what we'd expect. All the bits can be glued together and I will be able to paint it, including putting the base in. I could have done that, but I think it'll, imagine when I'm painting it on a tutorial, you're just going to see the, well, let's hold the base up. You would just see the base, right? If I'm doing anything underneath, it's going to make it hard to film, but it's actually would make it quite easy to hold, and there's plenty of space to get in there and paint it up, so that's not really a problem. But yeah, love it. Very, very proud of this. It took an incredibly long amount of time. Let me know any hints and tips. How do you guys go about assembling such large miniatures? It was very, it was very time consuming. Do you do it all in one go? Do you space it out? Do you pace yourself? Any hints and tips? Massively appreciated. But yeah, this is looking great. Love, love, love how it's come out. I'm looking forward to painting it. I want to get straight on it. If only I wasn't busy editing videos. Thank you all ever so much for watching, and I will see you again soon.